Good afternoon. This is Akashvani. I'm Anuja Kumar with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a visit to France and UAE, describes India as a bridge between Global South and the West. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankhar calls a meeting of floor leaders of Upper House on 18th of July ahead of Monsoon Session of Parliament. Home Minister Amit Shah calls for a common strategy to deal with security challenges at the G20 Conference on Crime and Security in Gurugram. Countdown begins for launch of Chandrayaan-3, India's third lunar exploration mission. Delhi court convicts former Rajya Sabha MP Vijay Darda and former Coal Secretary HC Gupta in coal scam case. And in Wimbledon Tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden to play in men's doubles semi-final this evening. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi left on a two-nation tour of France and the United Arab Emirates today. In the first leg of his tour, the Prime Minister will reach Paris this afternoon. In his departure statement, Prime Minister Modi said he is travelling to France at the invitation of his friend President Emmanuel Macron. The Prime Minister stated that this visit is particularly special as he will join President Macron for the French National Day, also known as Bastille Day celebrations in Paris, as the guest of honour tomorrow. He also added that an Indian Tri-Services contingent will be part of the Bastille Day parade, while Indian Air Force aircraft will perform a flypast on the occasion. The Prime Minister will meet French Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne and President of the French Senate Gérard Larcher this evening. Mr. Modi will interact with the Indian community, which would be followed by a private dinner hosted by President Macron at Élysée Palace in honour of the Prime Minister. Mr. Modi will hold delegation-level talks with President Macron tomorrow. During the visit, he will also interact with the CEOs of Indian and French companies and prominent French personalities. Our correspondent reports that the visit will be rich in both substance and form.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of the India-France strategic partnership. The Prime Minister's visit will provide an opportunity to chart the course of the partnership for the future across diverse sectors such as strategic, cultural, scientific, academic and economic cooperation. It is high on both symbolism and substance. There will be a strong focus on trade and economy with a CEO forum comprising big names from the Indian and French sides. It is uncommon for foreign leaders to be invited as guests of honor for Bastille Day celebrations. Foreign marching contingents and foreign aircraft participating in it is also rare. There is great personal chemistry between Prime Minister Modi and President Macron, and as a special gesture, the French President will host the state banquet at the iconic Louvre Museum on Bastille Day. Suparna Saikia, Akashvani News, Delhi.
On the second leg of his visit, the Prime Minister will visit Abu Dhabi in UAE on Saturday. Prime Minister Modi has described India a bridge between Global South and Western world. In an interview with a French newspaper, Mr. Modi said the rights of the Global South have been long denied, and this has led to a feeling of anguish among these countries. He said, as the most populous country in the world, India needs to regain its rightful place. The Prime Minister said, how can the United Nations Security Council claim to speak for the world when its most populous country and its largest democracy is not a permanent member? Mr. Modi advocated for a comprehensive reshuffle of the international institutions. He called French President Emmanuel Macron a strategic partner in the Asia-Pacific region who shared his views on the international order. Mr. Modi said India has always stood for peaceful resolution of differences through dialogue and diplomacy and for respecting sovereignty of all nations, international law and the rules-based international order. The Defence Acquisition Council has approved proposals for buying 26 Rafale fighter aircraft for the Indian Navy. Official sources said the Council also cleared a proposal for buying 3 additional Scorpion-class submarines for the Indian Navy. The two-day G20 Conference on Crime and Security in the Age of Non-Fungible Tokens NFTs Artificial Intelligence (AI) and Metaverse began at Gurugram in Haryana today. Addressing the inaugural session, Union Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah said transformation of security challenges from dynamite to metaverse and hawala to cryptocurrency is a matter of concern. He urged all to devise a common strategy to effectively deal with the menace. Mr. Shah emphasized the urgent need for cooperation, both at the national and international level, to build cyber resilience in an increasingly connected world.
टेररिस्ट को अंजाम देने के लिए, युवाओं को रेडिकलाइज करने के लिए तथा वित्त संसाधन जुटाने के लिए नए तरीके खोज रहे हैं। वर्चुअल एसेट्स के रूप में नई तरीकों का उपयोग आतंकवादियों द्वारा फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए भी किया जा रहा है। टेररिस्ट अपनी पहचान छिपाने के लिए और रेडिकल मटेरियल को फैलाने के डार्क नेट का भी उपयोग कर रहे हैं। हमें डार्क नेट पर चलने वाली गतिविधियों के पैटर्न को समझना होगा और उसके उपाय भी ढूंढने होंगे।
The minister said, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has been at the forefront of adopting emerging technologies at the grassroots level.
मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारत जमीनी स्तर पर उभरती टेक्नोलॉजी को अपनाने में अग्रणी रहा है। हमारा उद्देश्य है समाज के सभी वर्गों के लिए आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी को अधिक सुलभ और अधिक किफायती बनाना है। इस क्षेत्र में भारत ने कई उपलब्धियां हासिल की है। आज 840 मिलियन भारतीयों की ऑनलाइन मौजूदगी है, जो बहुत बड़ा गर्व का विषय भारत के लिए है।
Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankhar has convened a meeting of floor leaders of the Upper House on the 18th of July in New Delhi ahead of the Monsoon Session of Parliament. The Monsoon Session will begin on the 20th of this month and is expected to continue till 11th of August. Earlier in a tweet, Union Minister Prahlad Joshi urged all parties to contribute towards productive discussions on legislative business and other items during the Monsoon Session. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at Air News Alerts. The countdown has begun for the launch of Chandrayaan-3, India's third lunar exploration mission. Over 25-hour countdown began at 1:05 p.m. today. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO will launch Chandrayaan-3 by LVM-3 rocket at 2:35 p.m. tomorrow from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota. We have a report.
Scientists at the Satish Dhawan Space Centre are making all the arrangements and last-minute checks to monitor the functioning of the rocket LVM-3. India will become the fourth country to launch its spacecraft on the surface of the moon and demonstrate the country's abilities for safe and soft landing on the lunar surface. LVM-3 is the operational heavy-lift launch vehicle of ISRO, and it is the fourth operational flight which is to undertake the launch of Chandrayaan-3. The mission of the rocket is to inject multiple satellites and ensure a safe relative distance among the separate satellites through reorientation and velocity addition maneuvers. The 43.5-meter tall rocket with a lift-off mass of 642 tons will have 3 stages of flight. Around 16 minutes after the lift-off of LVM-3, the propulsion module is expected to get separated from the rocket and would orbit the Earth for about 5 to 6 times. Joy, Akashvani, Chennai.
A Delhi court today convicted former Rajya Sabha MP Vijay Darda and former Coal Secretary HC Gupta in a case related to irregularities in the allocation of a coal block in Chhattisgarh. In the 13th conviction in the coal scam, Special Judge Sanjay Bansal also convicted Darda's son, Devendra Darda, 2 senior public servants, K.S. Kropa and K.C. Samria, and Director of JLD Yavatmal Energy Private Limited Manoj Kumar Jaiswal. The court held the accused guilty of criminal conspiracy, cheating and under relevant sections of Prevention of Corruption Act. The argument on quantum of punishment will be heard on 18th of July. The coal scam took place during the UPA government at the centre when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. In the national capital, the water level of the Yamuna River continues to rise, reaching a record high of 208.57 meters and breached the 1978 record of 207.49 meters, leading to waterlogging in several areas. Schools, colleges and universities in Delhi will remain closed till Sunday in view of waterlogging. A decision in this regard was taken during the meeting of the Delhi Disaster Management Authority today. Talking to media, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said all city government offices, except those providing essential services, will have work from home. He said advisory is being issued for private offices also to allow work from home to their employees. Mr. Kejriwal said water rationing will have to be done as 3 water treatment plants in the city are shut and people will be facing water crisis for a day or two. He added that heavy vehicles, except those providing essential services that enter Delhi, will not be allowed. In Assam, flood situation continues to remain grim due to heavy rainfall and water release from Kuruchu Dam of Bhutan. The worst affected areas are Bongaigaon, Biswanath, Chirang, Dhemaji and Lakhimpur. According to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, the number of flood-hit districts has risen from 3 to 5 in the last 24 hours. A red alert for extremely heavy rainfall has been issued for Kokrajhar and Chirang district for the next 24 hours. Heavy rains are also likely to in other western Assam district in the next 2 days. Water levels of Brahmaputra and several of its tributaries are also rising. Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has stressed on the need to put citizens at the heart of urban planning. He said it is not enough to seek people's input just before the master plan, and one has to continuously operationalize this exercise for urban planning. Mr. Puri stated this while inaugurating the National Conclave on Urban Planning in New Delhi today. A crucial railway project carried out by India was commissioned in Sri Lanka today. More from our correspondent.
IRCON has completed track upgradation of 48 km Anuradhapura-Omantai section in 6 months' time. The Indian public sector undertaking has rebuilt the railway line from bottom up, which will allow for smoother and faster travel without jerks. The upgrade will result in better connectivity from Colombo to Jaffna, helping people from the northern province get seamless and comfortable travel. For Akashvani News, Ahmed Moin Faruqi from Anuradhapura.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Russian, Singapore and Thailand counterparts at Jakarta in Indonesia today. On his meeting with Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Dr. Jaishankar in a tweet said they held discussions on bilateral economic issues and matters pertaining to the Ukraine conflict. Writing about his interaction with Singapore Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, the External Affairs Minister said they had a good conversation on the current global situation and its challenge. With Thailand's Foreign Minister Don Pramudwinai, the External Affairs Minister held a discussion on pressing regional concerns and their shared connectivity interests. In Wimbledon Tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden will face top-seed Dutch-British combination of Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski in the men's doubles semi-final this evening. In women's singles, Tunisian 6th-seeded Ons Jabeur will take on Belarusian 2nd seed Aryna Sabalenka this evening for a place in the final. In the other semi-final, Ukraine's Elena Svitolina will be up against Markita Vondrousova from the Czech Republic. In women's cricket, India were 52 for 2 in 9 overs against Bangladesh in the third and final T20 international in Dhaka when reports last came in. Earlier, the visitors won the toss and opted to bat. After winning the first 2 matches, the Indian side will be eyeing a 3-0 sweep in the 3-match series. The Harmanpreet Kaur-led team defeated the hosts by 8 runs in the second T20. Key domestic benchmark indices rallied to record highs today, tracking their Asian peers after a moderation in U.S. inflation boosted sentiment. The Sensex crossed 66,000 mark for the first time in intraday trade. It was up 407 points to trade at 65,801 when reports last came in. Similarly, the Nifty was up 105 points to trade at 19,489 a short while ago. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a visit to France and UAE, describes India as a bridge between global south and the west. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankhar calls meeting of floor leaders of Upper House on 18th of July ahead of Monsoon Session of Parliament. Home Minister Amit Shah calls for a common strategy to deal with security challenges at the G20 Conference on Crime and Security in Gurugram. Countdown begins for launch of Chandrayaan-3, India's third lunar exploration mission. Delhi court convicts former Rajya Sabha MP Vijay Darda and former Coal Secretary HC Gupta in coal scam case. And in Wimbledon Tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden to play in men's doubles semi-final this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.